We are the Gujarat Technological University. Since its inception over a decade ago, GTU has been empowering young and curating minds to realize their true potential. Over 4 lakh inspired students are enrolled with one of the premier academic universities in India. With more than 450 affiliated colleges in its fold operating across 5 zones of the state, GTU, the International Innovative University, your place to move forward.
Hello friends, myself Piyush B. Savaj, working as an assistant professor at SN Patel Institute of Technology and Research Center, Umrah, Badoli. Today we learn about theory of force vibration. So we start with this session. Force vibration of single degree of freedom system. So First I will tell what is the force vibration. The vibration which the system executes under the external periodic force. So that type of the vibration is known as the force vibration. The frequency of vibration in this case is the same as that of the excitation. In case of the force vibration, there is an impressed force upon system which keeps it vibrating. So what is the difference between the free vibration and force vibration? In the free vibration, there is no external force acting on the system. So in the free vibration, once the system is disturbed from its equilibrium position, system comes into the equilibrium position uh, later or sooner depending upon the damping into the system. While in the force vibration, there is an always the external force which is acting on the system. So due to that, the system continuously vibrate. The vibration of air compressor, internal combustion engine, and machine tools and various other machinery are the example of force vibration. There are in general 3 types of the forcing function commonly encountered in the engineering practice. First one is periodic forcing function, second one is impulsive type forcing function, and the third one is random forcing function. The periodic forcing function can be further divided into 2 categories, harmonic and non-harmonic. In our syllabus, there is only harmonic type the forcing function. Force vibration with constant harmonic excitation. Consider a spring mass system having a viscous damping excited by a sinusoidal forcing function F0 sin omega t as shown in the figure. At any instant when the mass is displaced from the displaced from the mean position through the distance x in the downward direction, the external force acting on the mass is shown in the figure. So if we draw the free body diagram of this mass block M, then there is a 3 external force acting on the system. The first one is spring force, and that is due to the expansion of the spring, and uh, that is acting in the upward direction. Second force is the damping force, which is the Cx dot, which is also acting in the upward direction. And third one is the impressed force F0 sin omega t, which is acting in the downward direction. Now, from the Newton's second law of motion, mx double dot that is equal to the external force. So here there is a 3 types of the external force. So mx double dot that is equal to uh, Cx dot, which is in the upward direction, so that is the negative. Spring force, that is also in the upward direction, so that is negative. F0 sin omega t, which is in the downward direction, so it is positive. Here we take the positive sign for the force, which is in the direction of the acceleration. So acceleration is in the downward direction, so we take forces in the downward direction as positive and forces in the upward direction as negative. So sign for the damping force is a negative, sign for the spring force is also negative, and sign for the impress force, that is the positive. Now take this 2 into the other side, so it will be positive. So mx double dot plus cx dot plus kx, that is equal to f0. This is the linear homogeneous second order differential equation. The solution of this type of the equation consists of the two parts, complementary function and particular integral. Here see, there is a term, this term is mx m x double dot, so it is a m d square x by dt square. So it is a second order differential equation, and it is a linear and non-homogeneous. Non-homogeneous because of there is on the right hand side there is a non-equal to value, non-equal to zero value. Okay, so it is a non-homogeneous. So this equation is a linear non-homogeneous second order differential equation of motion. The solution of this type of the equation consists of the two parts, uh, complementary function and particular integral. So uh, first we see the complementary function. So complementary function or complementary solution can be derived by considering this equation and take the zero onto the right hand side. So mx double dot plus cx dot plus kx, that is equal to 0 by considering the no forcing function. The solution of this type of the equation is already obtained in the previous chapter, that is the undamped free vibration, damped free vibration. Okay, so solution depending upon the damping, there is a three types of the solution. But here we consider there is a underdamped system. So for the underdamped system, there is this type of the solution we derived in the earlier chapter. So XC X subscript C. C stands for the complementary solution. Okay. So Xc is equal to A2 e raised to minus zeta omega nt sine under root 1 minus zeta square omega nt plus phi 2. So this is the complementary solution. You already derived the solution in the previous chapter. Here we assume that the system is a underdamped system, and in this equation there is a two constant. First one is A2 and the second one is phi 2. This A2 and phi 2 is known as the uh, constant and which can be derived from the initial condition. The second part one is a particular integral. So particular integral is derived by considering the forcing function. So mx double dot plus cx dot plus kx, that is equal to f0 sine omega t. Here we use the vector method. So here we use the okay. So here we use the vector method for finding out the particular solution. The particular solution is a steady state harmonic oscillation having a frequency equal to that of the excitation, and the displacement vector lags the force vector by some angle. Let us therefore assume that the particular solution is xp. Subscript p stands for the particular solution. Xp is equal to capital X sine omega t minus phi, where omega is a frequency of the forcing function, and this vector is lagging by the angle phi from the forcing function. Differentiating this equation with respect to time, so it gives the velocity. So x dot p is equal to omega x cos omega t minus phi. I convert this cos function into the sine function, so we add to 1 pi by 2 angle. Okay, again differentiating with respect to time. So x dot p is equal to minus omega x sine omega t minus phi. I take this negative sign into this angle by equating the plus pi angle. Okay, so omega square x dot p is equal to omega square x sine omega t minus phi plus pi. Okay, now substituting the values of xp, x dot p and x double dot p into the equation, into this equation. So equation becomes m omega square x sine omega t minus 5 plus pi plus c omega x sine omega t minus 5 plus pi by 2 plus kx sine omega t minus 5, that is equal to f0 sine omega t. Now take this 3 term into the another side, so it becomes negative. So f0 sin omega t minus m omega square x sin omega t minus 5 plus pi minus c omega x sin omega t minus 5 plus pi by 2 minus kx sin omega t minus 5, that is equal to 0. Now in this equation there is a 4 term, and this 4 term represent the 4 equation. Okay, so first term represent the impressed force, which is the external force acting on the system. The second term, which represent the inertia force, and that is the and magnitude of this inertia force is m omega square x. Third term, which represent the damping force, and this damping force is c omega, magnitude of this damping force is c omega x. And the fourth term represent the spring force, and magnitude of this spring force is kx. Okay, and the summation of this all four forces are equal to 0. So it is so that the system is into the equilibrium under these four forces. And when we draw the vector diagram of these four forces, so we get the closed diagram, which is the because of the equilibrium of the system. Okay, now uh, we we see how these four forces represent on the vector diagram. Okay, now we represent these four forces on the vector diagram. Okay, so first one is a impressed force F0 sin omega t. Here magnitude is F0, and which is acting at the angle omega t. So at the angle omega t from the reference axis, we draw this line. Magnitude is equal to F0, and length of this line is F0, and angle from the reference axis is omega t. So here we get our first vector, that is the impressed force. Now, uh, now we show the displacement vector. We see this displacement vector is at an angle of omega t minus 5. So uh, at the angle omega t minus 5 from the reference axis, we draw the displacement vector. This is indicated by this arrow. So this vector represents the displacement vector. This vector represents the impressed force. Okay. Direction of this impressed force vector is in this direction. Okay. Now the second one is spring force. We represent the spring force. The spring force magnitude is minus kx. Okay, magnitude is minus kx, and which is acting at the angle of omega t minus 5. So this displacement vector is also at the angle omega t minus. This displacement vector is also at the angle omega t minus 5. Okay, so this spring force is parallel to this displacement vector, but in the opposite direction, because there is a negative sign. So from the opposite of the displacement vector, we draw the spring force, and we draw this spring force from the tip of the impressed force. Okay, so spring force is in the it is parallel to the displacement vector, but in the opposite direction. And we draw this vector from the tip of the impressed force. So this vector represents the spring force, and the direction of this is in this direction. Now, uh, the second force is a damping force. Here, see, damping force, here magnitude is minus c omega x, or with compare with the spring force, here also magnitude is minus kx. Okay, so but this angle, the damping force is at the angle omega t minus 5 plus pi by 2, whereas spring force is acting at the angle omega t minus 5. So here there is a plus pi by 2. Once it is leading from this spring force by the angle pi by 2. So spring force in this direction. Okay, plus pi by 2 leading. So plus pi by 2 leading means this direction. So spring force in this direction. Sorry, damping force is in this direction. So uh, damping force vector, it is drawn from the spring force vector, from the tip of the spring force vector in this direction. Okay, so this vector represents the damping force and the direction is in this direction. Now the third one is the inertia force. Magnitude is minus m omega square x and at the angle of omega t plus pi. Compare these two angles. Okay, so from these two we can say that inertia force leading the damping force by the angle pi by 2. So this is the direction of the damping force. Okay, leading me pi by 2 angle. Okay, so that is the direction of the inertia force. So from this inertia force can be drawn from the tip of the damping force in this direction, and here we get the closed diagram because of this summation of all these forces are equal to 0. Okay, equal to 0. So our system is in the equilibrium position, and that's why the vector diagram of these four forces we get the closed diagram. Okay. Okay. Now from the O point, draw the parallel line to the damping force on this spring force. Okay, so draw the parallel line from this damping force to this spring force. Okay. Now this distance and this distance both are the same. So this much distance is okay. So this distance is kx minus m omega square x. Okay, so that is denoted here kx minus m omega square x. This distance is c omega x. So this distance is c omega x. Okay, so it is a right angle triangle. Okay, OAB is a right angle triangle. This side is kx minus m omega square x. This side is c omega x, and the hypotenuse is f0. Now, okay, there are some observation from the vector diagram. The first observation is the displacement lags the impressed force by angle 50. Okay, so see this displacement vector. This is the displacement vector, and this one is the impressed force. So displacement vector is lagged by the angle phi from the impressed force. So that is the first observation. Second observation is the spring force is always opposite in the direction to the displacement. See, the displacement vector is in this direction, spring force is in this direction. So this spring force and displacement vector is always in the opposite direction. The third observation is the damping force lags the displacement by 90 degree. Okay, so see, this one is the displacement and this one is the damping force. So damping force is in this direction. Okay, so we can say that the damping force, okay, so this one is, it is in the reverse. Okay, so damping force is, it's lagged by the angle 90 degree from the displacement vector. Okay, so that is the third observation. The fourth observation is the inertia force is in the phase with the displacement. See, displacement is in this direction. Inertia force is also in this direction. So we can say that both are in the same direction. So inertia force is phase with the displacement vector. So this are, and this inertia force is always opposite in the direction to the acceleration. Okay, or we can say, okay, suppose this is the displacement vector, then velocity vector is leading by the 90 degree, and acceleration vector is also leading by the velocity vector by 90 degree. So this one is displacement, this one is velocity, and this one is acceleration. So velocity is leading by the angle 90 degree from the displacement, and acceleration is leading by the angle 90 degree from the velocity. So this one is the direction of the inertia force, and this one is the direction of the acceleration. So we can say that this acceleration, this inertia force is always opposite to the direction of acceleration, and the second one is this damping force is in this direction, velocity is in this direction. So we can say that damping force is always opposite to the velocity. So these are the some observation from this vector diagram. Now we find out the our solution, particular solution from this vector diagram. Okay, so this is the right angle triangle. This side is kx minus m omega square x. This side is c omega x, and this hypotenuse is f0. Now I apply the right angle triangle rule. So f0 square is equal to kx minus m omega square x whole square plus c omega x whole square. I common the x from the both the term and take the under root. Okay, so this it this term it is into the denominator, and I take the square root on both these sides. So x is equal to f0 divided by under root k minus m omega square whole square plus c omega whole square, and tan phi is equal to, so tan phi is equal to opposite side divided by adjacent side. So opposite side is c omega x, adjacent side is kx minus m omega square x. Okay, this one is adjacent side, this one is opposite side. So tan phi is equal to c omega x divided by kx minus m omega square x. Okay, in order to obtain above equation in the non-dimensional form, so we divide the numerator and denominator by k. So we divide the numerator and denominator by k. So in the numerator there is a f0 by k. In the denominator, so it is into the under root, so it is a k square. So this is the k minus m omega square divided by k whole square plus c omega by k whole square. Okay, same as for the, I take the tan inverse. So tan inverse and this x and x from the numerator and denominator will be cancelled. So phi is equal to tan inverse c omega divided by k minus m omega square. I divide numerator and denominator by k. Okay, now so this equation becomes f0 by k, here 1 minus m omega square by k whole square and whole square plus c omega by k whole square. Now I convert this into the some dimensional less quantity. Okay, so first one is m omega square k, m omega square by k. Okay, so see, this is k by m. So instead of the k by m, I write down the omega n square. So it is omega by omega n square. So omega by omega n is known as the frequency ratio. Okay, c omega by k. So I multiply and divide by the cc. I multiply and divide by the 2m. So c by cc, this term is known as the damping factor, that is the zeta. Cc by 2m, that is known as the omega n, and k by m, this is again the omega n. So this is omega n square of k by m. So omega n square into omega. So 1 omega n, 1 omega 1 will be cancelled out. So remaining one is 2 zeta omega by omega n. And f0 by k, it is known as the static deflection. Zero frequency deflection. Okay, f0 by k is known as the zero frequency deflection. Okay, there is a difference between the static deflection and zero frequency deflection. Okay, static deflection is known as the deflection due to its own weight or own mass. Okay, so that is known as the static deflection, and zero frequency deflection is known as the deflection due to the uh, uh, deflection due to the this F0 force, that is known as the zero frequency deflection. Deflection due to this F0 force, that is known as the zero frequency deflection, and that is denoted by the X static. And uh, static deflection is known as the delta st. So there is a difference between these two. This one is static deflection and this one is zero frequency deflection. Both the term is different. So f0 by k, so that is the x static, m omega square by k, so that is the omega by omega n square, so it is omega by omega n square. C omega by k, that is the 2 zeta omega by omega n, so 2 zeta omega by omega n. So x is equal to x static divided by under root 1 minus omega by omega n square whole square plus 2 zeta omega by omega n whole square, and 5 is equal to 10 inverse 2 zeta omega by omega n 1 minus omega by omega n square. Now I take this x static into the sorry. Okay, so that is our solution. Okay, so this one is our solution of the particular solution. Okay, now this is the solution, particular solution. So complete solution is given by x is equal to xc plus xp, where xc is a complementary solution and xp is a particular solution. So complete solution x is equal to summation of complementary solution and particular solution. So this one is the xc and this one is the xp, particular solution. So this is the complete solution to the underdamped system subject to sinusoidal excitation. It is found to contain two arbitrary constants A2 and phi2, which have to be determined from the two initial conditions. See, in this equation there are the two arbitrary constants. First one is A2 and the second one is phi2. So this can be find out from the initial condition. Okay, so for finding out the two arbitrary constant, we require the two initial condition. We already see this into the earlier chapter. Now some of the observation from this previous equation. Okay, so in this equation there is a two part. So first part of the complete solution is a complementary function, and it's seen to be decay with the time. See, there is a term. Okay, so there is a term e raised to minus zeta omega t. Okay, so there is a, due to this e raised to negative power, this term will decay with increase with the time. Okay, so this term will be decay with increase with the time. And when it is ultimately, this part is in engineering practice is commonly called as the transient vibration. So this part is known as the transient vibration, and as the time t increase, this complementary solution, the amplitude of complementary solution will decay. Okay, and after some time it completely vanish. Okay, second part is a particular solution. See, in the second part there is a no time term. Okay, so there is a no time term. Okay, so and this one is the amplitude of vibration. Okay, so there is a no time term. Okay, so as time increase, this term will be constant. So amplitude of the particular vibration is constant, and in engineering term that is known as the steady state vibration. Okay, and complete solution is superposition of these two. So this complete solution is superposition of these two. In the force vibration, the transient vibration, the amplitude of the transient vibration is continuously decreased, and after some time it is completely vanished. So system comes with the only the steady state vibration. Okay, so we learn about the steady state vibration in the next topic, steady state vibration. For all the practical systems subject to harmonic excitation, this transient vibration die out with matter of short time, leaving only the steady state vibration. So it is important to know the steady state behavior of the system. Okay, so this is the solution of the uh, steady state vibration. We already derived this solution. Here we take this xt into the denominator, so it is x by xt. Okay, so it is x by xt, x static, that is equal to 1 upon under root 1 minus omega n square whole square plus 2 zeta omega by omega n square. This ratio steady state amplitude by steady state amplitude to the static zero frequency deflection is known as the magnification factor. The ratio of steady state amplitude to zero frequency deflection is defined as a magnification factor, and it is denoted by the MF. It is the factor by which the zero frequency deflection is to be multiplied to get the steady state amplitude, and the phase lag is given by phi is equal to tan inverse 2 zeta omega by omega n upon 1 minus omega by omega n square. Okay, now next one is frequency response curve. So frequency response curve. So frequency response curve, it is a graph of this magnification factor versus the frequency ratio. So first graph of magnification factor versus the frequency ratio, and the second one is phase lag versus the frequency ratio. Okay, so this two graph is known as the frequency response curve. So first we see the magnification factor versus frequency ratio. So in the y-axis we take the magnification factor, in the x-axis we take the frequency from 0 to 3, and in the magnification factor we take the 0 to 4, and the graph is drawn from the for different values of zeta. So here we take the zeta value 0, 0.125, 0.25, 0.5, 0.701, zeta equal to 1, and zeta equal to 2. So for the different value of zeta, we draw the graphs. We get the graphs by this. Okay, and second graph is phase angle versus the frequency ratio. So phase angle we take on the y-axis, frequency ratio we take on the x-axis. Okay, angle is from the 0 to 180 degree, and frequency ratio is from 0 to 3. There is some observation from the graph. So first we see the observation from the magnification factor versus the frequency ratio. Okay, first observation is it is seen from this curve that the response of a particular system at any particular frequency is lower for the higher value of damping. In other words, the uh, cause for the higher value of damping is lie cause for the higher value of damping is lie below the lower value of damping. So higher value damping curves are lower by the lower value of damping. Second observation is at the zero frequency ratio, the magnification factor is 1, and it is irrespective of any damping. So for all the damping coefficient or all the damping factor, the magnification factor is unity at the zero frequency deflection. So at the zero frequency deflection, magnification value is 1, and it is irrespective of damping. The next observation is okay. So third observation is at very high frequency, the magnification factor tends to 0, or the amplitude of vibration becomes very small. So in this range. So at the high frequency, the magnification factor value tends to 0, or amplitude of the vibration becomes very small. At the resonance, the fourth observation is at the resonance. Resonance means omega is equal to omega n. So frequency ratio is 1. So at the resonance, the amplitude of the vibration becomes very excessive for the lower damping. So for the lower damping, for 0, 0.125 or 0.5, this amplitude of vibration is very excessive or very high value or infinite. And for the higher damping, this magnification factor value is lower. So at the resonance, for the very less damping, this amplitude of vibration becomes very excessive. So these are the four observations we see from the graphs of magnification factor versus frequency ratio. Now, same we see the observation for the phase angle versus the frequency ratio. Okay. First observation is the phase angle also varies from 0 at the lower frequency and 180 degree at the higher frequency. So 0 at the lower frequency and 180 degree at the high frequency. Second observation is it is 90 degree at the resonance. Resonance means omega is equal to omega n. So omega by omega n value is 1. So it is 90 degree irrespective of any damping factor. So it is 90 degree for all damping factors. Third observation is uh, for small frequency range containing the resonance point, the variation of phase angle is more abrupt for the lower value of damping than for higher value. Fourth observation is for zero damping, the phase angle suddenly change from 0 to 180 degree. Okay, so for the zero damping, okay, so this I change the color of okay. So this graph, see, this is the zero damping line. Here zeta is equal to 0, and this line is okay, and this, sorry, this one. Okay, so for zero damping, so for the zero damping at the lower frequency value is 0 degree, and it is abrupt change from 0 degree to 180 degree from the at the resonance, and for the higher value of frequency ratio, it is value is 180 degree. So at the resonance, the value is abrupt change from 0 degree to 180 degree for the zero damping. So that is the fourth observation. So these are the observations of magnification factor versus frequency ratio, and these are the observations of phase angle versus frequency ratio. Now, next one is force vibration with rotating unbalance. Okay, so we continue this part into the next session. Uh, Topic remaining is force vibration with rotating unbalance, force vibration with reciprocating unbalance, force vibration due to the excitation of support, and the last one is vibration isolation and transmissibility. Transmissibility. We covered this topic in the next session. Okay. As a reference, I use this mechanical vibration by G.K. Grover book for the uh, for for preparing this slide. Thank you.